Hey, I just want to share a message of resilience in these times. Um, it is possible to be resilient, and I think that there's no better opportunity to be resilient, given everything we're going through that we've had to get through. That sounds kind of um, like a duh, but yeah, uh, these days are opportunities to build resilience, and as I've said before, especially in my video and my song "Love Is Enough," pulling inspiration from your ancestors, that they've gone through harder things than you might be going through. Maybe not as hard things too. Maybe you're dealing with something new that's never been dealt with before. I mean, we all are dealing with new things every day, but just to know that your ancestors were able to get through some pretty tough times, and you are proof of their survival, of their thriving, um, can be a source of strength for you. And in doing this, you can think back to things your ancestors did. You can research, your origins and find what were some things they did pre-industrialization. What were some of their skills that they used to survive. And it's just interesting to think that, the way we survive is much more removed from the land than the majority of people typically were way back when. So there's a lot of skills you can learn and gain from just researching your origins, and you can find something cool that they did that you can also do and pass that resiliency on. For me, I learned that my Irish ancestors had a Sunday tradition where they would boil potatoes and make broth, and everybody in the little corner of the town would all make their own broth, and then they do a broth sharing, and so you'd bring a quart or so of your broth over to your neighbors, and your neighbor would bring it to their neighbor, and it just all got shared up. And by the end of the night, you'd have a bunch of people have brought their broth, you'd given some of your broth away, everybody had the same broth. So whether you were down hard and you didn't have any actual garden grown vegetables, and you had to forage, say, for nettles or whatever it was in your stew, maybe you didn't have much of a bone to put in to make the broth with, and your soup was really thin, it got thickened up by someone who maybe did better that week, and they built resilience, during the potato famine, to survive. Not everyone survived, but a lot of people died of hunger and starvation, but they did what they could to get through it, and they boil those potatoes, and they dump them on the wood table. Everyone would grab a potato, and they'd eat it with their broth. And I tried that. I tried it. Well, I made my broth into a gravy, and it was pretty good because you just add a little butter and a little flour, and then you put your broth in, and it really gives it a little extra flavor. And then I pour those over my boiled potatoes. And I felt really like, this is so simple. This is something I could sustain myself on for a long time. It was really delicious. So I'm really into making like broth and boiling potatoes now. But yeah, that's just a really cool way to use all the animal. You get a roastery chicken at the store. You keep the carcass, put in the slow cooker, make some bone broth. It's really, really good for you. Um, so that's my 2 cents on resiliency right now. Just look to your origins and see if there's something you can learn from your ancestors. Okay, have a good night.